Well, here is Sting and Darby Allin joining the media scrum with Tony Khan in the middle.
I'll worry about that in a minute. We'll worry about that later. But I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you would come in. You didn't have to. This is above and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Sting.
Thank you.
Sting and Darby. We were just singing your praises. Unbelievable. Thank you. First question.
Lyric Swinton, SNME Radio. Thank you, Sting, for an incredible career. Question for both you and Tony. So a lot of people have always talked about AEW's usage of legends and veterans, and there's so many people above the age of 50 who are honestly doing some of the best work of their careers in AEW. So for Tony, what do you hope to leave as a legacy for how wrestlers are treated, in the final stages of their career? And for Sting, what made AEW so special for you to want to do your retirement run here?
Let me stop it there. How many wrestlers? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what the fuck? Is she an idiot? What made it special? It's the only other place besides the WWE where somebody was willing to pay him $1 million. That's not hard to answer.
Well, first of all, I take it on a case-by-case basis, but tonight, first and foremost, this is the greatest case of all. This is the greatest of all careers, the career that spans the most history. And there's a generation of wrestlers. There's a generation of wrestling when wrestling was the biggest thing in the world that a lot of us grew up on. And there's one person going into tonight that was still wrestling. And for the past 3 years, he's carried this place. We're very fortunate the life Sting has pumped into this place, that we were the final stop on what is the greatest career of all time. So first and foremost, on a case-by-case basis, I just think of everything. It's in front of us. And tonight, the most important thing we've ever done was to give Sting the greatest send-off we could.
It's nice to be a fan. It's nice to give him this night the greatest career of all time. The
greatest career of all time. Move over, Bruno, Andre, Stone Cold, Rock, Hogan, Longzon, Londos, Strangler Lewis. It's Sting. Come on, you could even get by with saying one of the greatest of all time. That's subject to interpretation, and you're not giving a set quantity. But come on. I mean, if I can't see Sting, but I would imagine he was even looking a little embarrassed, wasn't he?
He looks a little dazed. I mean, he just had a long match. Well, let's go to Sting.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. I mean, the very first conversation I had with Tony really, really said a lot, because he just had something about him that just told me, I am going to make sure that you retire the right way, that you're going to go out the right way. I don't like the way you've been treated over here or over there. You will not be treated like that here. And I saw an opportunity, liked Tony, and I liked all the wrestlers, male, female, the whole package. So a lot of the same behind the scenes people from WCW way back when. And there's the brand just really seemed to fit me. I was their brand and they were mine. It's like, with WCW all those years, and then to be with TNA, it kind of felt that way, but not really. It never really fully got there for me. And then WWE, it was never quite fully there for me.
Can I stop you for a second? Or can I stop Sting for a second? I was in TNA between 2006, 2009, right? And I remember the last 2 years that I was there, both years, about whenever time Sting's contract would come up, I would hear from Dutch Mantell or somebody, well, Sting wants to finish up. He wants to quit, but Dixie keeps giving him a raise. She was paying him, and this is 15 years ago, $500,000 a year to come to fucking TV and do the pay-per-view and not even wrestle on all those tapings. So that was 5 days a month and not even that many matches. And here we are, 15 years later, this fucking guy has given him exponentially more money than that for exponentially fewer matches. No wonder he hadn't quit till now.
Let's go back to the man called Sting.
Here, the whole package. I had just a great appreciation for the whole package, and what a good fit. And I was right.
Hi, Joel Torres from Contralona. Congratulations. What a great retirement tonight. This question I asked Tony last Thursday on the media call. I want to ask you this question. Now that you've retired in ring action, what are your plans? Obviously going home, taking your break with your family, but are you wanting to be involved in AEW at some other capacity? Thank you.
Well, Tony has mentioned me staying on board in some form or fashion. We haven't really worked anything out there yet, but I'm sure we'll have some kind of conversation. And I am saying, maybe we'll see what happens. I have no interest in, being a manager or anything like that, or an agent. I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. So
So what is he going to do for all the money that Tony's about to throw at him?
What would there be left? And that's the thing. Sting has never had any interest whatsoever in booking, agenting, matchmaking, far as I know, announcing, nothing else, and nothing other. And I mean, we worked closely together in TNA. He wouldn't even question the booking when it was shit stain. He was the only one of the top guys that would just, oh, well, whatever Vince wants. He wouldn't question anything. He has no interest in any of that shit.
See, that's why he was the guy that fit in so well here, because he wasn't someone who got it.
He didn't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, he didn't care. Do what the fuck you want. I don't take this shit seriously. I mean, that's just the way he is. But what if he has no interest in and doesn't want to be, and probably wouldn't be good at being agent, producer, a trainer? How the fuck? Can you imagine Sting as a trainer? He barely learned. I mean, let's face it, Sting's been a huge star, but his in-ring has never been praised as being revolutionary. He learned the things he could do to get by. It's not like his work is fucking. So what is Tony thinking? I want to pay him to hang around with me. I can't bear not to see Sting once a week. What the fuck is he going to do? What does he need him to do?
Well, let's see what he says here.
He doesn't need to do anything. He's got millions of dollars that people like Tony have given him to do very little.
I'm not sure what I could offer, but
well, you're one of the greatest legends, not only certainly the greatest legend ever in AEW, and I think one of the greatest wrestlers, if not the greatest wrestler of all time. Nobody's ever had.
What? Wait, what the fuck? He's now the greatest wrestler of all time? What is going on here?
It takes such a jump. You're one of the greats of all time. You are the greatest of all time. All right, let's go back to Tony and Sting.
It has spanned more than yours, and what you've done for us here, we're all in your debt. So please, not only is the door always welcome and open for you, but I hope you will be back. And like I've said, we'll figure it out. We want you.
The Forbidden Door 3, the door is always welcome.
The door is always welcome.
Here.
Well, yep, I'm willing to have a talk.
God damn, he's like, please, can these motherfuckers leave me alone so I can go home and retire? I got too much fucking money. I'm not going to live long enough to spend it. Why do they keep wanting me?
This is literally the retirement match media scrub, and Tony's trying to talk him into staying.
Yeah, 15 years ago, he's like, what else can I do? I don't need. I'll finish up. No, here's more money. Well, what? Well, why would you turn down that much money for doing that little?
Just a little bit more from Sting, because this is probably the last time we will be hearing from him, unless he resigns to become a commentator. I guess he didn't rule that out.
Boy, howdy.
Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the early part of your career. There was almost like a little bit of a crossroads with your career. You started obviously with Jim Hellwig, the Ultimate Warrior, and you kind of separated a little bit. He went his way.
Kind of separated a little bit. You kind of separated a little bit.
Went in opposite directions, never to again work in the same place, except for like 3 months when WCW hired everybody.
I want to talk about these crossroads you got to where you went a completely different direction.
Eddie Gilbert, Rick Steiner, the First Family. And I just want to talk about that part of your career and kind of at least kind of reflect a little bit on, now with hindsight, Was obviously,
What
was
in
the right thing
world?
to split up and do different stuff, and basically just kind of just reflect on that portion of your career.
Just reflect.
What a question.
What question? Just reflect. Can we have some reflection here?
He's like,
A little more reflecting.
I need to get this guy to talk about the Ultimate Warrior, and I have no question in mind that I can't come up with one. Let me just throw words together and ask him to reflect. Here's Sting reflecting.
Well, I think it was definitely good that we were both together to begin with, because, he looked like a freak. I was 265 pounds and I looked like a little kid compared to him. But both of us together were pretty intimidating. And, we had a lot of people saying, Maybelline Road Warriors. I don't know if you remember any of that, but yeah, but we thought, who cares? We get a match with the Road Warriors, we hit the big time. And so, but I think it was good that we ended up splitting up. It was good that he went his way and I went mine. We were not meant to be together. We were meant to start together, and it got us in the door for sure. But he needed to be on his own, and I needed to be. We were going to kill each other literally on the road. Two roided out young men.
Denise Salcedo, Instinct Culture.
Well,
Wait,
that's
hold
what
on
it was
here.
then. Two
Hold on here a
roided out.
second. And by the way, I appreciate him admitting that, but they were two completely different personalities and people. You can't deny that. I've never said Sting was a bad human being or a bad person, and definitely Warrior was. But can you imagine, he just gave me a visual, and I realized it never happened, did it? Was the Ultimate Warrior ever in the ring opposite Hawk and Animal ever in history?
Opposite them? No,
Yes.
he teamed with them. I don't know about opposite them. I don't think so.
He teamed with them once in the WWF, right?
Survivor Series 90, they were on a team. I think they had a few other 6-man matches against Demolition as well.
I would pay any amount of money to see the Ultimate Warrior in the ring against Hawk and Animal, because if Warrior had tried to pull that bullshit with them, they would have beaten him to death. Working with him. They would have just worked with him like they worked with the fucking job guys in Georgia in 1983, and the Warrior would have been squealing like a pig stuck under a gate. Because I don't care what else you did not no-sell Hawk and Animal shit. And I would have loved to have seen him try to pull that fucking puffy face bullshit on them. But anyway, I digress. I just like to still to this day to see somebody kick the shit out of the Ultimate Warrior for principle. But go ahead.
Well, here's Sting finishing his steroid talk.
Guys, I mean, just shooting straight here. Yeah. That stopped in 1990 for me. So yeah, it didn't stop for him, but it stopped for me.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, there's what we're going to hear today from the media scrum. Tony, as crazy looking as ever. Buy a comb. God damn it. Just get a comb or a brush. Or
Well,
a
now, he's
Flowbee at this point. A Flowbee may work.
He's been going to Kyle O'Reilly's fucking barber, apparently.
It's like that thing when guys would come up and they say, how do I get over with Vince? And Heyman would be like, change your name to Kennedy. He'll love you. If you're coming back to AEW, how do I get over with Tony? Get the Tony hairdo. Just show up looking all frumpy and you get a push.
Look like you've been on some kind of fucking binge for 7 days.
Yes. Show up looking like you have NFL meetings in the morning. That's the look to show up with. But Jim, that was it.
That's some kind of they're calling it NFL now just to avoid people knowing what they're talking about. That's the kids' code these days. I got an NFL meeting in the morning.
Well, maybe so, and we hope that meeting went well for Tony and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But there it is, the retirement of Sting, AEW Revolution.